Hi guys, so as the AI race is ever evolving, as so many different competitors from both the US and China step into the ring to try to compete over who has the best AI model, a certain company that's really big in China has just stepped into the race and apparently overtook the throne from Deepseek. So this is a Chinese company called Baidu. They make a search engine in China. It's basically the Chinese version of Google. If you think about it. And the reason why such a company exists is because, well, there is the Great Firewall of China, which, if you aren't familiar with, is basically a global internet censor there. So things like Google, Facebook, even YouTube, which you're seeing me on right now, doesn't work over there. So there has to be alternatives. In this case, there's Baidu, which is the Chinese Google. And they've launched two new AI models that apparently, according to Reuters and according to Baidu themselves, well, not according to Reuters, according to Baidu, I should say, has said that apparently it rivals DeepSeek's models. Now, DeepSeek's models were really, really good because they were, at the time anyways, on par with and even slightly better than the US models, and they were at a fraction of the cost, and they were open source, so you could run them on your own hardware, and it really rattled the stock market on release. Like, the stock market was not having a fun day on the release of some of those DeepSeek models. So Baidu's model apparently delivers the same performance as, and I should add, Baidu's new model is called Ernie X1, which is an interesting name. I mean, all of these models have kind of weird names to them, but I mean, Ernie? It's, I mean, okay. So Ernie X1 delivers performance according to Baidu on par with Deepseek R1 at only half the price. So basically, they are providing about the same reasoning capabilities, at least according to them. I haven't found any like specific third-party benchmarks yet, but according to them, it provides the about the same performance and the same reasoning capabilities as the DeepSeek R1 model, except if you're using it on Baidu's own hardware, it's going to be half the price. So Baidu said that one of the new models, the X1 model, has apparently stronger understanding, planning, reflection, and evolution capabilities, which is definitely marketing speak, and I guess we'll see as time goes on if it actually is, you know, really, really good, especially because DeepSeek R1 was already just a game-changing model in general. It had incredible reasoning capabilities and it outpaced the heck out of OpenAI's models. So it would be quite interesting to see if this actually just overtakes the throne of DeepSeek R1, but it might. And for what it's worth, too, Baidu also has a new foundational model called Ernie 4.5, which apparently has excellent multimodal understanding ability. It has more advanced language ability, and its understanding, generation, logic, and memory abilities are comprehensively improved. This also implies that there's an Ernie 3 and 2 and 1, but I'm going to be perfectly honest, I haven't heard of these models until now. So I, I mean, I'm just now knowing that this company has stepped into the race. So it's very clear that they aren't necessarily one of the notable ones in the AI race at the moment. They haven't really made a mark for themselves yet. They might in time, especially as there's becoming even more and more growing incentive to really get yourself in the AI game, especially because it's like become a again like a east and a west thing. Governments are even incentivizing companies to start getting into AI. Like the US government had a big AI partnership set up between Nvidia and OpenAI and Microsoft and everybody there. And China is doing similar things. There's becoming an ever-growing incentive to really become a bull in the AI industry, right? You need to get in there. So I can see where they're coming from. They're starting to try to ramp up their stuff to try to get it more well known and get it to be super good so they can be the one to, you know, the one to win this thing. But I guess with time we'll see if Baidu as a company in terms of the AI race becomes more notable because, again, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never heard of this. I've never heard of the Ernie model. I don't know what this is. It's just, I'm just now learning that this thing exists. So basically, and it says here as well that Baidu has struggled to gain widespread adoption for its Ernie large language model, despite claiming performance comparable to GPT-4 and other fierce competition out there. It's it's not a really well-known model or a well-known company in the AI space, so they clearly are definitely making an attempt to ramp up their game, and I don't blame them, especially because, again, like I pointed out earlier, there's becoming an ever increasing incentive to do so. But I guess at the end of the day, we'll see how this model turns out. We'll see if it is as notable as Deepseek R1. Quite honestly, I think one of the reasons Deepseek R1 was so notable anyways is because they kind of struck at the right time. They struck gold. Like it was at like such a perfect time for them to do it. First of all, there was like a decently big uptick in like, I guess, Chinese technology at the time anyways. Deepseek R1 came at a time where the TikTok ban was happening, people were moving to the Chinese social media app Xiaohongshu. It was like a really strike gold moment, and furthermore, like at least for like the Western culture, and I should add the fact that it was also open source. It was an incredibly powerful reasoning model, better than GPT, any of the GPT reasoning models, and it was open source. You can, I don't know if it was kind of a perfect shot kind of opportunity if you think about it. Everything lined up for this like sort of omega release that rattled the stock market aggressively. And I don't know if something like that's going to happen again. I mean, it might, but it's playing catch up with a name like DeepSeek is going to take a really long time, especially because they're so well known in the industry now. They really made a name for themselves. So I think any of the other Chinese companies are really going to have a tough time trying to play catch up to beat them, if I'm going to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see with time. We'll see what happens. It's never evolving like competition. So with time, we'll see what happens. I'm sure these models show promise, especially because they've been making these models for quite some time, and according to them, by them I mean Baidu, they seem to have some pretty decent capability, but they're just not that well known. So we'll see if they become something like super remarkable and they become super well known, or if they'll just kind of be like the sort of sidekick to DeepSeek, which is just kind of there but not really all that well known. I guess we'll see with time. But anyways, that's about it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Take care, you guys, and stay safe out there.